Rain lashes against the glass chapel windows. The white roses outside are crushed by the storm. Inside, silence. Then, the heavy door creaks open. A woman steps in. Her gown clings to her skin, drenched and trembling from the cold. The bouquet in her hand drips red petals onto the marble floor, one by one. She wasn't invited, but this was supposed to be her wedding day. Every eye turns toward her. Gasps echo. Somewhere in the back, someone whispers her name like a ghost from the past. For a moment she says nothing, just stares, not at the priest, not at the guests, but at the man standing at the altar, wearing a ring that was meant for her finger. They lock eyes. His face drains of color. The music stops. The air feels heavier than rain. You can almost hear her heart breaking in real time. This was the man who once promised forever. And now he's standing here, beside another woman, in the same chapel where he swore his love. Before anyone can move, she takes one slow step forward. Her heels click against the marble, soft, deliberate, painful. Every guest feels the tension. You can almost taste the betrayal. Her voice finally breaks the silence. "Do you remember what you said to me, Jake?" Her tone is calm, almost tender. "You said you'd wait for me, even if the world ended." A tear escapes down her cheek, mingling with rainwater. "Well," she whispers, "the world ended, and you didn't wait." The groom lowers his eyes. The bride beside him trembles, and for the first time, no one knows who to pity. Before we dive deeper, let us know in the comments where you're watching from. We'd love to hear from you, and if you're new here, click on the subscribe button so you never miss any of our upcoming stories. Why did she come uninvited to her own wedding? What truth could drive a woman to walk through rain and heartbreak just to stand before the man who once promised her forever? And what secret was she about to expose? One so heavy, it could destroy not just a love story, but an entire family before a single vow was spoken. People whisper in confusion, but she doesn't flinch. Every pair of eyes in the room is on her, yet she seems distant, like she's not standing there in a wedding gown soaked through with storm water, but somewhere else entirely, reliving the moment everything inside her broke. Her mother's voice echoes faintly in her mind. If someone shows you who they are, don't wait for them to change. She ignored that warning once, but not today. She looks straight at the altar, her breathing slow but trembling. You can feel her anger fighting with her grief, her silence louder than any scream. The groom, Jake, swallows hard, trying to form words, but nothing comes out. The bride beside him grips his hand tightly, confused and afraid. She doesn't know what's about to happen, but everyone else senses it. This woman didn't come to beg. She came to reveal. And here's what no one in that room knows yet. This moment, this confrontation, wasn't sudden. It was months in the making. Behind that calm face is a story of betrayal, sacrifice, and a promise that was never meant to be broken. Before we go deeper, ask yourself this. What would you do if you found out the person you trusted most built their new beginning on your pain? Would you walk away quietly? Or would you walk into the storm just like she did? Because sometimes the truth doesn't knock on the door, it crashes through it. And on this day, under these shattered vows, the truth is about to be heard by everyone. Her name was Maya Turner. The daughter of a man everyone in her hometown respected, Colonel Robert Turner, a military officer whose voice could command silence in a room and whose footsteps carried both strength and fear. Maya grew up under the shadow of discipline, in a house where emotions were locked behind closed doors and tears were a sign of weakness. From the time she was 9, she learned to hold her ground, to hide her pain, and to never ever let anyone see her fall apart. But what no one saw was what happened behind those perfect family portraits. Her mother, Evelyn, was a quiet woman, gentle, graceful, and always tired. For years, she endured a man who treated love like an order to be obeyed, not a gift to be cherished. Maya remembered the sound of her mother crying softly at night, the sound that shaped her into who she became. She promised herself one thing: she would never let any man make her mother cry again. When she turned 16, her father left for a long deployment overseas. That year, Maya began training in mixed martial arts at a small gym near the old train station, not to fight others, but to fight fear. Her coach would always tell her, "You can't control the world, Maya, but you can control how you stand in it." Those words stayed with her long after the bruises faded. She grew strong, not just in her body, but in her will. And in every match, she saw her mother's face in her mind, whispering, "Keep going, my girl." By 21, she was known as the woman with unshakable eyes, tough, driven, but also tender in ways most people didn't see. Then came Jake. He wasn't like the men she'd known. While she built walls, he painted sunsets. While she spoke in reason, he spoke in color. He was a quiet artist who lived in a small studio downtown, spending his days turning pain into beauty. He saw her one afternoon at a community art fair, standing alone, watching children draw with chalk. Later, he told her that moment felt like watching fire trapped inside glass. She laughed at his poetic words, but something about his sincerity disarmed her. For the first time in years, Maya let someone in. Their love was slow, genuine, and pure. Jake would bring her sketches after her training sessions, drawings of her hands, her smile, sometimes even her mother. He told her, "You don't need to be strong all the time. You're allowed to be held." No one had ever said that to her before, and in that moment, the walls around her heart began to soften. But life had its irony, because Maya had a twin, Leah, delicate, graceful, always adored. Where Maya was strength, Leah was softness. Where Maya fought for control, Leah was effortlessly loved. Growing up, Maya often stood in her sister's shadow, the strong one, the protector, the one people respected but rarely comforted. Yet she never envied Leah. She loved her deeply, saw her as the part of herself she'd never had the chance to be. Until Jake met Leah. At first, it was innocent. They were close, because Maya trusted them both. Family dinners, shared laughter, late-night talks that drifted too long. But sometimes, when Maya looked at them together, she'd feel something strange. Not jealousy, but fear. Fear that history had a way of repeating itself, that maybe once again she'd be left behind. Still, she pushed that thought away. She believed in loyalty, in promises, in the kind of love her parents never had. She believed Jake was different. She believed Leah would never betray her. She was wrong. Because the woman standing beside Jake at that altar, the woman in the white dress, trembling as the rain poured outside, was her twin. Now pause for a moment and imagine that. Imagine watching your sister, your other half, walk down the aisle in the gown meant for you. Imagine the person you trusted most holding hands with the man who once called you his future. How would you even breathe? Would you scream? Would you walk away? Or would you do what Maya did and face them all? Because sometimes the most painful part of betrayal isn't losing love. It's realizing that the people you die for never learned how to live with your loyalty. She followed the laughter. Familiar. Too familiar. The kind of laughter that used to echo through their childhood bedroom when the lights went out and secrets were whispered between sisters who swore they'd never hurt each other. Maya stopped at the edge of the corridor, her heart pounding so loud she could hear it in her throat. The sound was coming from the old studio, the one she and Jake had turned into their shared dream space, a place filled with half-finished paintings and broken promises. She took one quiet step closer, the wooden floor groaning beneath her heel, then another. The laughter faded into a soft hush, followed by a voice. His voice. Jake's. "Don't worry," he said softly. "She'll understand. She always does." Maya's breath caught. That tone, gentle, reassuring, it was the same one he'd used with her when life was heavy and hope was thin. For a moment she thought maybe she was wrong, maybe she'd misheard, maybe her heart was just tired and cruelly imagining things. But then, She heard it. Her sister's voice, low, intimate, trembling, the way someone sounds when they feel both loved and afraid. Maya pressed her hand to the door, her fingertips cold. The scent of jasmine perfume slipped through the crack. Her sister's perfume, the one she'd worn since college. Every memory hit her at once. The nights they shared a single blanket during storms, Leah's head on her shoulder after their father's anger, the promise she made to always protect her. A single tear slid down Maya's cheek. She didn't open the door yet. She couldn't. Her body refused to move. The laughter returned, softer now, muffled by something, maybe a kiss, maybe guilt. The bouquet she'd been holding slipped from her hand, petals scattering across the floor. One red petal stuck to her wrist, trembling as her pulse raced beneath it. For 5 long seconds, there was silence. Not the calm kind, the kind that screams, the kind that tells you your world is about to break. Lightning flashed through the window, a blinding white burst that illuminated the room for just an instant, and in that instant, the truth revealed itself. Jake's hand cupping Leah's face, their lips meeting. Maya didn't make a sound. Her whole body went still, the way a candle freezes before the flame dies. Her eyes didn't even blink. The moment felt endless, the sound of the rain outside suddenly distant, the clock on the wall refusing to tick. She turned away slowly, her chest heavy but empty all at once. Every breath felt borrowed, every heartbeat foreign. She stumbled backward until her spine met the wall. Her throat tightened, but no tears came. She didn't scream. She didn't storm in. She just stood there, numb, staring at the door that now separated her from everything she once believed in. And that's when she realized it wasn't the storm that ruined her wedding. It was what waited behind that door. Now tell me, what would you have done if you were her? Would you have opened that door and faced them? Or would you have walked away, letting silence say what words never could? Pain didn't make her weak. It made her patient. Maya's chest ached, but she didn't scream. She didn't run. She didn't break down on the marble floor where petals from her scattered bouquet lay like fallen promises. Instead, she breathed. In, out, in, out. Every inhale drew in the storm outside. Every exhale let go of the chaos that threatened to consume her. She straightened her shoulders, smoothed her drenched gown, and stepped toward the chapel. Each step was deliberate, calm, almost graceful. But beneath it, her heart burned with fire she wouldn't let anyone see. Guests turned instinctively, murmurs spreading like wildfire. Some froze. Some whispered her name in disbelief. And she smiled, just faintly, almost imperceptibly. Not because she forgave, not because she forgot, but because she had already decided what she would do next. The power wasn't in yelling, in shaming, or in collapsing. The power was in control, in patience, in letting them reveal themselves without her having to raise a finger. As she walked, her mind replayed every moment leading to this day. Flashbacks of laughter that wasn't meant for her, the shared secrets of her twins' deceit, the gentle touch she had once trusted that now felt like a betrayal branded into her chest. Each memory sharpened her resolve rather than dulling it. Pain had taught her patience. Betrayal had taught her focus. And standing there, every eye on her, Maya knew the world had no idea what they were about to witness. She paused for a moment, letting the silence stretch. The kind of silence that makes hearts pound faster, that makes people lean forward instinctively, waiting for the next move. And as she continued her walk down the aisle, she let a single thought crystallize in her mind. This isn't about revenge. This is about truth. If this story has your heart racing, comment, "I'm still watching." Let's see who's truly with us till the end. Now tell me, if you were Maya, walking into the room where the people who betrayed you are waiting, would you act immediately or wait, letting them reveal themselves first? You wanted a bride, Toby. Here I am. But this vow isn't for you. It's for every woman who ever stayed silent while her heart was breaking. Maya's voice was steady, unwavering, even as her fingers gripped the edges of the podium like anchors. She didn't yell, she didn't accuse, she let the truth speak for itself. A soft click and a recording began to play through the chapel's speakers. Conversations she had captured, moments she had witnessed, words that revealed the depth of betrayal that no one could deny. The crowd froze. Faces drained of color. Gasps filled the air, broken only by the faint whimper of a sister who had finally realized the magnitude of what she had done. Leah's knees buckled, and she sank to the floor, eyes wide in shock and shame. Jake, or Toby, as Maya now called him, seeing him for the man he truly was, lowered his gaze, unable to meet hers. The altar, once a place of promises and hope, now held the weight of exposure, of truth laid bare with quiet dignity. Maya laid her bouquet gently on the floor. White petals scattered like fragments of broken trust, but there was no malice in her gesture, only release. Every step she took away from the altar felt like reclaiming a part of herself that had been held hostage by lies, betrayal, and false promises. She didn't need screams or violence to prove herself. She didn't need to hurt anyone physically. The strength she carried in silence, in composure, in deliberate truth, was far more powerful than any shout could ever be. As she walked down the aisle, heads bowed and whispers following her like shadows, she left behind the life that had tried to define her by pain and betrayal. And in that quiet triumph, every woman in that room and every person watching this story unfold could feel one undeniable truth. Dignity, patience, and the courage to act on your own terms can change everything. Now think about it. If you were in Maya's shoes, would you confront the betrayal publicly, or quietly reclaim your own life like she did? She didn't marry that day, but she found something far greater, herself. Months passed, and the storm of that wedding faded into memory, replaced by something stronger, brighter. Maya Turner now runs a small community gym for women, a place filled with laughter, determination, and the quiet hum of people reclaiming their strength. The walls are painted warm tones, sunlight streams through wide windows, and the faint scent of chalk and sweat lingers, not heavy or oppressive, but alive, like the heartbeat of a place where healing happens. She watches as women punch bags, lift weights, and support each other through trembling arms and shaky knees. She laughs again, freely, without fear. She teaches them not just physical strength, but confidence, self-respect, and the courage to walk away from situations that diminish them. In these lessons, she finds her own peace. She forgives, not because she forgets, not because the betrayal was excusable, but because carrying the weight of anger was never hers to bear alone. Some battles aren't fought with fists, they're fought with grace. Maya learned that. And in the quiet triumph of everyday victories, of smiles, of shared strength, of empowerment, she discovered that the life she truly wanted wasn't about a wedding day, a groom, or a ring. It was about the woman she became after the storm, the one who refused to let betrayal define her. Now take a moment and ask yourself, what storms in your life have shaped you? And what strength are you ready to claim, just like Maya did? What would you have done if you were in her place? Would you have walked away quietly, letting the silence speak for the truth? Or would you have confronted them, every eye watching, every secret laid bare in that chapel? Imagine standing in her shoes, the betrayal, the shock, the heartbeat pounding so loudly it feels like the only sound in the world. Could you have held yourself together with the same calm determination? Or would the storm inside you have erupted, consuming everything in its path? Tell us in the comments. Your voice matters here. Share your thoughts, your emotions, your own experiences. Let us know how this story made you feel, and how you think you would have acted if faced with a betrayal like Maya's. Because stories like this aren't just for watching, they're for reflecting, for connecting, and for finding pieces of ourselves we didn't know were there. And if you think this story was unbelievable, wait till you hear what happened in our next folktale. Each story we share peels back another layer of life, love, loss, and resilience. Every story is a window into someone else's courage, a mirror reflecting our own choices, our own strength, and our own hearts. Subscribe for more timeless stories that touch your heart and make you think long after the screen fades. Don't miss the next journey, the next revelation, the next story that reminds you how powerful humanity can be, how much grace, patience, and courage can change everything. And remember, your story matters too.